Hey guys, this is Go to the Gamer here again with another deck profile. I'm gonna just tell you guys a little story behind this deck. Actually, I was younger, and a lot of my friends were calling me Pegasus Junior back in high school. This was about 10 years ago when I started. I started playing before high school, but I was called Pegasus Junior because I always ran a Toon deck, and I used to actually always beat people with it. But I'm not gloating. I'm just saying this is probably actually a deck that started my Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually had me pretty excited for Yu-Gi-Oh! But I've changed it up quite a bit because of the new support that came out in Dragons of Legend a little while ago. Yeah, here it is. Here's my Toon deck profile. So I run two Blue Eyes Toon Dragons. Actually, these two Blue Eyes I actually got from a sneak peek. Same sneak peek that first released the Toon Dark Magician Girl. But basically, Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, you can special summon it. You got to sacrifice two monsters first, but you can special summon it while Toon World's on the field. And basically, what's going to happen there is it can't stack first turn, and you can pay 500 life points to attack. But most Toons are like that anyway, so I'm not going to explain much to the deck. Just basically, the essentials is when a Toon monster is summoned, you can't attack the first turn it's summoned. And for most, basically you can pay 500 life points to attack, but that's for the essential Toons that first came out. For the newer ones, you don't pay life points. But we're gonna go on to the next one, which is 3 copies of Toon Mermaid. The one's rare. I'm actually trying to find ultra rare copies of 2 more. I had all 3 at ultra rare one time, but people wanted the ultra rare, and I wanted cards off them, so I traded it out and just added 2 commons. Toon Mermaid's basically the same, just a 1400. I don't think it's got any additional effect to it. Nope, it doesn't have any additional effect. It just has a basic Toon effect from when Toon first came out. So the next card I'm going to introduce is actually a newer one. It's Toon Cyber Dragon. I got 2 copies of it. If my opponent controls a monster and I control none, I can special summon it. So it's got Cyber Dragon's ability, plus when I control Toon World, I can attack an opponent. When I control a Toon World and my opponent controls no Toon monsters, I can attack my opponent directly. It doesn't say anything about this being destroyed when Toon World is destroyed, which is a pretty cool bonus, because if Toon World was destroyed from the original effect, Toons would be destroyed. So I don't think this one can be destroyed. But next card we're gonna see is 2 copies of Toon Gemini. Toon Goblin Attack Force. Toon Goblin Attack Force has the same effect that it's always had, is Goblin Attack Force. Goblin Attack Force basically does, when it attacks, it goes into defense mode. It's a 0 defender, a 2300 attacker. Good beatdown monster, especially for a Toon deck to attack it directly. So it's not too bad. Most of the new Toons you can normal summon, but I don't like to do that. I love to special summon and then normal summon into higher level monsters. Alright, next card is 3 copies of Toon Gemini Elf. Toon Gemini Elf, basically what it does is this card cannot attack the turn it's summoned, like most Toons. If Toon World is on the field, if Toon World on the field is destroyed, destroy her. As well, if my opponent... Sorry, guys. If my opponent controls no Toon monsters, I can attack my opponent directly. If this card inflicts battle damage to my opponent, discard 1 random card from my opponent's hand, which is really, really, really good. So I run 3 of those. Next card is 2 copies of Toon Summon Skull. An essential Toon, doesn't have any additional effects. Next card, which I love to death, not just because of the design, is Toon D-Girl. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it at that. The design's really cute, but besides the point, I'm not talking about card crushes here, but besides the point, it's a 2000 attacker, and it doesn't have to wait a turn to attack. So once I special summon it, it can attack right away. So that's the cool thing about the Toon Dark Magician Girl. Next card, one copy of Toon Ancient Gear Golem. I don't run more than one copy because it's a high level. You need 2 monsters to sacrifice for it. Also, if it attacks an opponent's monster and it's in defense position, it does piercing damage, just like the original. Too bad Crowler didn't see that coming in the show, right, guys? Yeah. I beat Crowler with this deck, hands down, right? Alright, next card is Toon Cannon Soldier. It does the same thing as Cannon Soldier, just it's a Toon. What? You were expecting more? Next card is Toon Mask Sorcerer, which is pretty good. Basically, it's the same thing, just when I do damage to my opponent's life points, I get to draw a card. That's all it does. Next will be 2 copies of the Winged Dragon of Ra. I run 2 because I don't have an Obelisk right now, and I would like to run at least 1 of each God card. And, yeah, so it's a pretty decent card. It's, I don't like the fact that they nerfed it from the show. Yeah, that kind of pissed me off, and I'm guaranteeing it kind of ticked you guys off too. Alright, next card is the Winged Dragon of Ra. Sphere mode.
With or without onions?
A little bit.
With or without onions?
With would be okay. Thank you. Sorry, guys. With or without Sphere mode. With Sphere mode, I can special summon a Winged Dragon of Ra. And it comes out with... I'll give you guys a little bit of screen time here with the card so you can read it. I love the design of this card. And, to be honest, really, really great card. Especially if you run 2 Raws. I've gotten 2 Raws out in this deck easily in 3 turns. So, enough said. Alright, last card for my monsters is Cypher the Sky Dragon. And, yeah, so he's pretty self-explanatory too. I love him. Always been my favorite God card. Alright, next we're going to go on to spell cards. So I run 3 Toon World, pretty essential. I don't actually have the new field spell for Toons. I love the alternate art, but I think I like the old Toon World a little better. I'll show you the alternate art just by moving the camera here. The alternate art's really, really good. Yep, cool. So the alternate art's pretty cool, but I prefer the original art. All right, next we have 3 Toon Table of Contents. You don't have 3 of these in your Toon deck. There's really, honestly, no point in running a Toon deck. But really good cards. You can search for any card with Toon in its name. So I could go for Toon Shadow Toon or anything with Toon in its name. Unfortunately, I can't go for a Comic Hand, but we'll get to that card next. Well, sorry, not next, but Shadow Toon's next. I run 2 copies of Shadow Toon. And what that does is, if I control Toon World, I can target 1 face-up monster my opponent controls, inflict damage to my opponent equal to the attack of the face-up monster. I can only activate one Shadow Toon once per turn. Next is Toon Rollback. I have 2 copies of that in my deck. And what it is I target 1 Toon monster I control. It can make a second attack. So here's a little spoiler. I have actually got a friend that I'm going to do deck profile with later on today, and I'm going to explain this just to embarrass him. What I did was I was dueling against him, and I took his Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon with Comic Hand, and I turned it into a Toon. So remember how Kaiba's Blue Eyes was taken from him? Well, yeah, I beat my friend pretty badly with his with a Toon Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Just imagine that. He was probably like Kaiba saying, "Oh no, my blue eyes, my blue eyes." But we'll get at that some other time. Next is Comic Hand, which is a card I absolutely love. The design for it is absolutely great, because it's obviously a Comic Hand. If I control Toon World, I can equip it to an opponent's monster. I can take control of the monster. It becomes a Toon, and it gets to attack directly. I don't even have to wait a turn. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Why didn't they bring this out when Season 4 came out? They're dicks, right, guys? Yeah. All right. And then next, I run 1 Mount of the Bound Creator for the God cards that I run in here. And then I run 1 MST right now until I can find room for another. But that's for the spells. The last few were just trap cards. I have 3 Toon Masks in here. You know what? 3 Toon Masks are absolutely essential. they did not nerf this. They actually upped it from the show. The show, when it was out, didn't have ranks, right? So if I control Toon World, I can target a face-up monster. My opponent controls special summon one Toon monster from my hand or deck whose level is less than or equal to the level or rank of that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. So, wow. So I could take a rank monster, compare it to a level monster in my hand or deck, and then special summon it. That's ridiculous. And it has to be a Toon monster. Next, I run 2 Toon briefcases. Basically, what he does is when my opponent special summons a monster. When my opponent summons a monster, while I control Toon monster, I can shuffle that monster into the deck. So my opponent special summons a monster like Odd Eyes Rebellion, and I have a Toon monster. Flip it, Odd Eyes is gone. It goes back to its extra deck. So that's just an example. Next would be 1 copy of Call of the Haunted, which is pretty explanatory, and 1 copy of Bottomless Trap Hole. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of my Toon deck profile. I will talk to you guys some other time, and enjoy your night. Have a good one. Bye bye.